Can you hear now? I'll get that ready.
We are coming on.
Okay, we'll start again.
Right, live.
From the top.
Very strange. I think we're live now.
Okay.
I think we're live. I think we sorted it, guys. Yeah, so we're back live now. Let me give it a quick listen. It's all working fine as far as I can tell.
Okay. And the stream is running now, so we can edit that chunk out of the front. Yeah. So they should be able to hear that in the chat. Okay. Just ask the question.
For the audio, I'll just rip both videos.
Well, I would just drop that first bit altogether.
Start again.
Just start again, yeah.
Okay.
Save editing. Sure, we didn't do that much.
Should we intro music?
Yeah.
Is the intro music?
Yeah, just start, and you can throw a wee bit in at the beginning.
Good evening, all. I am Richard Webster, aka @BigBadDaddy on Twitter and on Steam, and this is episode 346 of the Overseas Connection podcast, round 2. This week we are here to talk about Fallout 4, game trivia, some news, and some community events to talk about, some Forza stuff, so look forward to that. In the meantime, my co-host this evening is himself, Mr. Robin Tate. Say hello, Robin.
Hey, good evening. It's Robin Tate here, Bongo the Seine in Ballymena, Northern Ireland, and it's just the two of us tonight. And everybody's either off doing other American things, English things with sickness or things with food. So it's Rich and I holding up the fort tonight, and we're just going to have a wee chat together and see how we get on. I think we have some things in common to talk about, which will be kind of cool. And let's see what happens, Rich. Two blokes, one with a moustache, one without. That moustache is coming on very well, Rich, by the way. This is your Movember, is it?
Yeah, this is my Movember. It's going in.
And are you collecting a bob or two, are you?
No, I'm just doing it for the shits and gigs, really.
See, yeah, I've tried. Like, it's really, really itchy with me. It doesn't. I've tried, and I go ginger. Well, ginger grey, and that's a problem. That's not a very attractive thing at all. It looks like Ed Sheeran in 10 years.
That's the worst kind of ginger and the worst kind of grey.
Definitely. Okay, so what's happening, dude?
Well, we'll look at some new Twitch followers next week. I don't think we had any new ones this week. We haven't got any emails, and we've got no YouTube subscribers except for
Flippin' heck. Get your fingers out, people.
I subscribe to our YouTube, so that got one new subscriber. That's me. But this week we're going to talk about what we've been playing. Got to start off, Robin. I was wondering if you wanted to kick things off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a couple of topical things. The first thing I've had to put a fair bit of time into. Well, a fair bit of time is about 8 hours. Is Star Wars Battlefront, and I didn't buy it. I played the 10-hour demo with EA Access, and I've had lots and lots of fun with it. Why did I not buy it? Well, it's that whole thing about the multiplayer shooter. My connection's not that great, and it always seems great at the time, and then I always regret it somewhere down the line. Why the hell did I throw my money at that when I really shouldn't have? But do you know what? For a Star Wars fan, it does everything that it needs to do. It looks great. It sounds great. It plays pretty darn well. And, you know, there's nothing better than seeing Luke and his dad fighting with lightsabers in the middle of this battle where there's X-Wings flying overhead and there's AT-ATs and all sorts of things going on all around you. Just the amount of stuff that is physically on the screen at one time. There's many a time I'm going there, I'm going, holy crap, this is absolutely class. And the 60s or anybody early 70s people when they were born then, that whole the first 3 films are captured perfectly within this. There's no hint whatsoever of the newer 3 films whatsoever, which is very, very good. For me, what really ticked the big box for me is there's a section within it which is not pure multiplayer. It can be co-op or like single player. It's not a campaign, but they're called training missions. And one of the training missions is on Hoth, and you're in a snow speeder, and you have to take down an Imperial walker with a tow cable.
Okay.
Oh my God! That's everything I ever dreamed about as far as a video game. That ticks all the boxes. Yeah. When you have to go out and you have to fly close to the walker, fire out the tow cable, spin it round and round. There's a bit of skill keeping it just level, and then the big thing comes down with that fantastic noise when it crashes in with its nose first and its head first. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Some of the other sections, there's so many different modes to the game. So there's a lot of different modes, and one of my favorites ones was Supremacy. And so I don't know, is that domination in other sort of games? For me, I mean, the way the Supremacy worked was 2 big teams, 20 people on each team. You capture an area, and then you move forward. So they tell you to push forward, and you capture another zone. And if maybe the rebels come and take back that zone, you have to fall back and protect the last one that you had, and you work your way forward until you get to an end goal. I just thought that was fantastic, with 40 people on the screen, just really cool. So that's the really good stuff about Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay.
The bad stuff is, to me, it's about as deep as a little pond on Dagobah. You know, you can stand up in it. There doesn't seem to be an awful lot of depth. It's definitely not Battlefield. You know, doesn't seem to be that progression. I think part of that is to do some of the weapons. I mean, you think about all the Star Wars movies, the Rebels have guns that shoot lasers.
Yeah. Whether
they be a pistol or a big gun, it still fires a laser, and so do the Imperials. So all of the weapons are pretty samey, and the leveling structure seems a bit light. I think one of the biggest challenges as well on this is that the DLC for this, so say it's a 50 quid game, the DLC is almost 50 quid as well, the season pass. And that's a bit steep. And what that's going to do for me is that's really going to split the player base. I mean, I really prefer what Halo have done, where all the maps are coming out free. It's not going to split that player base. So that makes more sense to me. I suppose next time round, they're hoping to make their extra money out of the card packs in Halo. I suppose the next time that Halo comes out, if that card pack scheme is back in it, we'll know if it's worked or not. But if you're on the fence, if you're a big shooter fan and you're a Star Wars fan, the Battlefront is superb. I mean, when it comes cheap, or it gets into the vault, I know it's the sort of game I'll dip in and out of to get my Star Wars fix.
Yeah.
I think they really missed a beat not getting any sort of campaign in there. I mean, lots of those little smaller missions, if they had strung them all together, there's the speeder bikes on Endor, and if they had tied that together with a bit of a story, it's there. It's almost there. So I'm hoping that Amy Hemming's game that's coming out, or where she's writing it, the big sort of third-person story-driven Star Wars thing, I think, is it next year coming out as well? Hopefully that will tick those boxes.
People have said that even if it just had objective-based like single missions, like it might be more fun.
Yeah, I mean, even if they had done that with a co-op thing and sort of tied things together a little bit, it would have been wonderful. Excuse me, my wonderful wife has just come in and I have to open her hot water bottle for she's going to bed. And it's so cold and I'm not there and I'm hot. There you go, dear. Good night, darling.
Proper man's job, that.
Proper man's job. Open the hot water bottle. There you go. Yeah, so, great. Will I be going out and buying it after my 10-hour demo is done? No. Not unless it's cheap as chips, which it won't be for a while. But I'd say 6 or 8 months, it could be in the EA vault,
Yeah.
and we'll have it for free. I think it also gets kind of lost in some of the big stuff that's going on at the moment too. There's so much stuff out there, so much goodness.
That's the problem, isn't it? It's just, especially now, Tomb Raider's out. We were going to be talking about it tonight if Mark was coming, because he's really enjoying that. Obviously, playing Fallout, so that's amazing.
Yeah. So I suppose the other thing that we can both talk about here is Fallout.
Definitely. I mean, I spat the rhymes about Fallout last week for like 40 minutes. Christopher Matthews. We haven't really got anything.
Listen, that was good. It was lovely.
Yeah, I haven't got anything new to discuss. Maybe some crafting in a bit, but I want to hear your thoughts on Fallout. How do you?
Okay. Well, look, I'm still a newbie. My wonderful cousin in Canada managed to snaffle us a copy of Fallout 4, and it downloaded, and I only got to start playing it last night. So I put in about 3 odd hours last night and a couple of hours this morning. Now, and some people would be miles ahead, but I'm a slowbie. So I sort of kind of look at pretty much everything in the game. So where have I got to? I have just done the first big battle. So there's a place, the street you come down, and one of the Minutemen are on the roof, and you have to come in and do a thing for them. And I've met my first Deathclaw. I don't think that's a spoiler. I can say Deathclaw because they're in the other games. And holy crap, Deathclaws! My goodness!
That bit's in the trailer, isn't it? That Deathclaw is a mean son of a bitch.
Yeah, and I think actually that battle that I had is in some of the footage that they showed at E3. So I'm there in power armor with a big minigun, and there's a Deathclaw, and there's bandits everywhere. But my goodness, the Deathclaws are really scary. I forgot how much Fallout made the hair stand on the back of your neck at times. It can be a bit creepy. There's a bit, even at the start where you go to the garage, is it the Red Rocket garage, and you go down underneath it. Again, we're only talking probably if somebody was rushing through this the first hour and a half. So I mean, you go down below it into a little cave, and there's some of these big mutant insects or monsters around, and just they give you the creeps. I mean, it's tense. It can be, it gets the blood going.
Definitely.
So I mean, what did I think so far? I was so I was so tempted not to sign the document for the salesman that came to the door to see what would actually happen, but I could just sit there for hours and hours and end it and see if the actual war actually started.
Yeah.
And I'm playing as a bloke. I haven't adjusted him that much.
Right.
I made his frame a bit bigger to match me. I gingered him up a little bit to make him sort of like me, and away we went. And point wise, so you get to allocate your points. How did you allocate, Rich? Which way did you go?
I kind of decided sort of early on that I was gonna go for a more technical sort of playthrough. So I put a lot of points into perception and intelligence mainly. Bit of agility, and then like a 5 into strengths. And so far, my perk trees, I've been following like gun nut, cyan, that sort of stuff. I suppose like all centered around crafting, really, and like weapon. What about yourself?
Well, I didn't put a lot into strength. I didn't put. Most of my stuff went into charisma. I was trying to build the ultimate salesman. Okay.
Right.
So it was intelligence and charisma. Got nearly all of my points. With a tiny little, maybe a 2 in luck, and very little in anything else. In fact, I think when you go into, there's a screen that shows all of the upgrades. The little cartoon guy.
Yeah.
So there's the main ones at the top, and then all the different perks down below it. I think my charisma at the moment and my intelligence are pretty much maxed out immediately. All the stars are filled. So is that possible? Is that right?
No, on that screen you don't see the empty bars. Just see what stars you've got.
Okay, so I'm full. I've threw them all into there. So
It goes to 10, I think, is the max.
yeah, so I'm already sort of in some of the conversation trees, like previous games. You can sort of force the conversation, and you get a different color up, and you can push someone for more information. That's happened a few times already. That I've got that bit extra information out, and some of the characters that are there. You're mentioning crafting. Yeah, so I remember from before, crafting mostly was upgrading your guns and making sugar bombs or different bits and pieces there. But there seems to be an awful lot more crafting. I know there's the village building, and I know there's an awful lot of depth in that. So I think I built a hut. That was about a sort of one simple shelter sort of thing at my house near my original house was. And I thought, well, look, I'm just going to leave this for now because I'll come back to this, I think. So I went down to meet the Minutemen, fight that battle, and I think what I'm going to go do now is go back to the vault because I've heard you can go down. You see this wonderful gun down in there, and I think my companion that I have with me, Woof, if you get him to fetch, he goes and gets that weapon.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And I hear it's really good, so I'm going to go back and try that. I thought the opening stuff was actually pretty good. Yeah, we've all seen that bit. Everything's rosy and nice, and you're in your nice house and you run to the shelter, but you don't really see much after that. What actually happens? And I thought the premise is pretty darn good. Definitely. You know, I didn't realize that these people who were fantastic. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. Fantastic are actually a bit more ominous. They're a bit damn right nasty of what they've actually done. And I just, wow. So that storyline sounds like hopefully it'll develop. Now, I'm not waiting for it to do massive things. It's a Fallout game, I suppose, and the fun is in the adventure and walking around. My problem is because it's taken me 5 hours to get to there. Every house in my cul-de-sac, I have been through it with a fine-tooth comb and been through everything. And so I'm been in and then started to craft some upgrades for my pistols. So I've added an extra barrel bit on it and other bits and pieces like that there. And I think the pistol's going to be really good. Loving my shotgun. Have a laser. Yeah, okay. But it's just weapons seem to be very, very available, and better weapons than I remember from Fallout 3 from such an early stage. So I mean, you're way, way, way on. I mean, do you get encumbered very, very quickly, or are you using a console command to get rid of your encumbrance? So the only way you can break down all those guns and stuff is at a crafting table. How you sort of junk those into component parts.
Yeah, pretty much. Once you get to, I think it might be your gun nut perk or something like that. But the perk that you get where you can break up guns into the component. Starting off without that perk, they're just all you can do is scrap them, and I think you steal from them. But with the perk, you get like screws. What I found is they do sort of give a lot of stuff to you quite early on.
Yeah, well, I mean the power armor, and we know about that because that comes in that first bit. I mean, you're getting your power armor within an hour and a half. I don't know if I'm going to use it a lot because it is a heavy, big, clunky thing. But I mean, it was way, way, way down the line in Fallout 3 before you got anywhere near power armor.
I've got like 4 sets now, and I've done 21 hours or so, and story-wise, I've done very little. I haven't gone to the big main city yet or anything. Just done a couple of little missions. And that's about it. Other than that, I've just been exploring, crafting, finding new places, killing raiders, and I've just stumbled across that one power armor and then the others.
And are you exploring, I hear, the north and the south? The south is where it's more dense, more of the city stuff is in the south, and it's harder in the south as well, I hear too. I hear the north is a bit more derelict farms and and raider camps and stuff like that there, and maybe a bit easier in the north.
Yeah, that's
Is that
exactly it.
yeah?
I've mostly been exploring like the top left corner of the map, so like the left quarter. I've gone a little bit to the right towards the ocean, but it got a little bit more difficult. There was a lot more raiders, high level raiders, very tight. There was a random Deathclaw. There was a part where I was in like me coach. I can't remember if I told this story last week, but I was just in like a coach the side of the road, and my dog was outside like sniffing around and stuff, and I was like looking right in all the corners looking for like little first aid kits or whatever, and I just heard like these footsteps outside the bus, and what shit, what's that? And I was sneaking, and I just saw like these spikes go across the windows, and I was Deathclaw outside just on this.
I don't remember them being so scary. I mean, they really are a scary looking thing. It's like something from Evolve. It's like one of the Evolve monsters. Have you ever seen the big behemoths in Evolve?
Definitely reminds me of that. And what I like about, like you said with Fallout 4, the monsters are scary this time round, and it is freaky. And those like the ghouls. Have you met a few? Like,
no, not yet.
They're like Left 4 Dead zombies now, and they're just nuts. But you can like shoot their arms and legs off and stuff. You shoot the legs off, they'll like scroll across the floor towards you.
Oh wow! So, okay, questions. Are you playing it on normal or a harder setting?
Just the default.
Which is normal. Okay, second question. What's your character called?
Her name is Zoe.
Oh, her name is Zoe.
Yeah.
Why is Zoe? Is it, well,
I think it's because she
looks like a Zoe.
Yeah, I was just thinking of brunettes that I know that I don't know personally, and they're just Zoe Deschanel come mind dead quick.
Oh, yeah.
Such a new girl.
I'm watching her big sister in Bones at the moment quite a lot. So, yeah. Do you know what? She is pretty much my perfect girl, actually. If that was real life, I would
ask her to
dance. Yeah. Okay. Well, my guy is called Bobby.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do Barbara. But I am in Boston, so I didn't want to be a girl. If it had been a girl, it would have been Barbara, but it's Bobby because it's Boston. That's my best Boston accent, so it says Bobby. Yeah, and I'm playing it on normal. So yeah, on the Xbox doesn't seem to be any achievements for what level you play it on. Actually, we just had a quick flick through, but I think normal feels okay at the moment. Yeah, so look. I'm amazed it's only 5 or 6 hours that I've played so far, but it was lovely. It felt like an old pair of comfy slippers. Getting back into it again. I think some of the stuff is more refined. I think there's an awful lot more depth in it. I haven't seen any jank in my 5 hours yet. I'm sure I will. It's amazing that the buy ball that Bethesda gets for jank. When you think of things like The Witcher, which hasn't had a lot of jank at all.
Yeah.
From what I hear, the Bethesda seems to get an awful lot of lenience from the internet community. It seems nutty. I mean, they've been doing this now for so many games, and they've been making this for years. Why the hell is it not better than it is?
I think, to be honest, I spend quite a bit of time in the PC forum on Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
I experience that sort of, and people don't. Those people do not give them like a free ride. The general internet does, but those people they were talking about refunds. If Bethesda don't come out and acknowledge these crashes, this was like a day after release, or like a Sunday night. It was like if Bethesda don't come out and then say what's wrong, and they know that there's a refund. But we're like, no company does that after release. They have come out like this week and said there'll be a patch next week. Test out before it gets rolled out to everyone. That's coming. But I think, to be honest, mate, if you look at like The Witcher, like everyone always like compares it to The Witcher in reviews and things that have been. Level of detail in this game, even down to the crafting and the minute details in the world, are nothing like The Witcher. The Witcher, me, because I've played about 20 odd hours of that as well. The Witcher for me is more like a Grand Theft Auto. The world is there, and you can just explore the set pieces that they've laid out. Whereas in Fallout 4, it's all dynamic, and there's all this equipment and this useless junk everywhere that you can pick up. You can drop stuff everywhere, and like there's just a lot more, I think, behind the scenes than people realize. Graphically, The Witcher may be better in that regard, but there's a lot going on in Fallout, as you've seen.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I almost want to start a notebook about, where things were, like a safe that I can't get into right now. I'm going to take a wee note that was there, because it may be one of those things you never come back to, because my lockpicking skill isn't where it needs to be right now. Still, the hacking on the computers is the same as from before, and quite like it too. So, yeah, it's wonderful. Why is it wonderful when I'm only 5 hours in? It has that atmosphere. It has that. I wonder what it would be like if you'd never played a Fallout game before and weren't used to the Pit-Boy, and because there's lots of stuff that isn't taught to you, like that system. I mean, there's no instruction about that, and I know it's a big RPG and you are expected to learn stuff, but there really isn't an awful lot of hand-holding. If you were to put yourself into oh yeah, I hear everybody talking about Fallout, I'm going to buy it, there would be a pretty steep learning curve for a lot of the in-depth stuff that's on there. Now, Google's your friend and all that there, but there really is no internal sort of teaching thing at all. No hand-holding.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. Me and you, I played like 120 hours of Fallout 3.
Yeah, I was about the same, yeah.
So, coming into this, there's a lot we didn't know, like about hooking up the wires, that was new, and things like that. But generally, like, if this was a new person, like you said, playing this game, they wouldn't have a fucking clue where to go, what to do, who to speak to. The game only tells you to go speak to the robot at the beginning, not a spoiler, but that's the only lead into this game that you've got. And if you look at open up the map, a new player opens up the map and sees the size, it can be a bit daunting for them. Especially if they're like, where the hell do I go? What am I supposed to do? What is there to do? I bet you a lot of players, bet you what they'll do is like walk off, go to like somewhere in the south, and basically just get kicked by a Deathclaw. And
yeah, there could be a bit of that. I mean, that was Mass Effect for me, the original Mass Effect. It was because I'd never ever played an RPG, never played anything like that sort of game ever before, and I dropped it after 3 or 4 hours, and then I was encouraged to get past a certain point, and then it all started to clip in. So I mean, that could be, I don't know, that could be something that would be pretty hard for folk. I would say if you are in this community and you are listening to it, stick with this game. Because if it's anything like Fallout 3, for me, it was one of the most rewarding games I ever played.
Yeah, definitely.
Radio stuff. I mean, the ambient sounds are brill and very atmospheric. The radio station that I was listening to with the really, really bad DJ, a bit like ourselves.
Yeah.
He's actually a bit annoying.
Because he's so depressed.
Yeah, he's like all this bit here, I'm told that I've got to play this. Okay, here's the next song, and here we are. So he's just a bit odd. The music, of course, is the same, because it is the 50s, I suppose. So quite a lot of the music and the tracks that you heard in Fallout 3 are falling through to Fallout 4. So I actually switched that radio station off, and just listened to the ambient sound and music, which is very, very good as well. Anyway, so
yeah, I agree. Definitely. The music in this game, like, obviously, like the 50s stuff is ace, but I found that the ambient music and just the sound effects and general music as you're going about the world, you explore stuff, the way like baddie music kicks in, it's very well done. Like, I'm very impressed. Skyrim was quite good in that, and the soundtrack for Skyrim was ace, but this one, it just gives you this sense of like wonder, doesn't it? Like, you're exploring this world, and it's just brilliant. So the chat is starting to come alive here.
Sorry, guys, if you're having some problems hearing Rich tonight. I think he's working away in the background there and trying to raise his volume. They're also saying that Fallout's wonderful. Henwood there is at what? He's like 110%, as you all know. He's into it in a big way. And he's saying, like, Fallout 4 is really special. He can barely put it down. Defoe, well, he wishes he had more time to play Fallout 4. But sure, what's new? He's got a very, very short attention span. So, what can you do about that, And Gary also wants to know, is your moustache real, or is it stuck on, or drawn on?
No, it's very real. This is for Movember. I'll give you a peek. Yeah, I'm quite proud of it. I can't really grow the sides. I get a little bit of sideburns down to like my jaw, but then my cheeks basically stay like, bare bones. So other than that,
so going back to Fallout, I think one of the sort of your house, your main base is going to be that where that red rocket is, and there seems to be crafting tables spread out all over the place.
Yeah,
I mean there was a crafting table for one thing, and then there was a cook pot. I can't ever remember having a cook pot before in Fallout 4. Did you cook stuff?
I think cooking pots were from Skyrim.
Right, okay, so there's cooking pots in, and then there's the building of your base, and I know you can do things with settlers and stuff like that there. I haven't got anywhere near that. But can you move those? Because, I would love to sort of lift all those and put them inside so they're all together, like in a table on the left and a table on the right.
You can move all the furniture, every piece of furniture.
How do you do that?
You go into crafting mode, you hold whatever the select button is on the Xbox One controller, when you're in an area where you can do that sort of stuff, and then the crafting menu comes up, and from there you just sort of highlight an object and you can move it or delete it, and if you delete it, you like scrap it for its components.
Okay.
So there's only certain areas you can do it, but if you like a lot of people set up in Sanctuary Hills as their first base, that's a massive town for you to be able to move around in. Later on, as you explore the wasteland and stuff, you'll find that there's excuse me. Wow, talking loads. You'll find there's like little outposts that you can actually take over, kill the raiders, and then you can take them over and make that your crafting place and build furniture there. But they're only little small outposts, which I thought was really cool because I was kind of worried that you'd only be able to do this in like full towns or rundown towns. But there's loads of just little out of the way places where you can set up like home.
Oh, good. Okay, because that's the only place. Unless you before you used to, if you become encumbered or you were carrying too much stuff, you had to sort of throw it down. You had to just get rid of, just drop it. So if you're having crafting tables closer and closer, you can actually do something useful with it because you do seem to be getting an awful lot of stuff. And I don't mean before in Fallout 3 you got lots of crap, but I seem to be picking up lots and lots of weapons this time round, which I think is different. That's the up that to get you in there an awful lot faster. I suppose you could, I suppose, within half an hour of starting the game, be out in the wasteland. Where Fallout 3, it took a while because you went through that whole baby growing up parties, fighting somebody at the party, all that malarkey. So
just to touch on that, Bongo, that I really like that about Fallout 4. And we're not going to talk too much spoilers, but the beginning, before you're actually like, here's the wasteland, fuck off and do some stuff, it's actually quite quick, isn't it? Like, it starts off and you think, oh, this is going to last quite a while, but then it's over quite all of a sudden, isn't it? Like, unexpectedly. And you think, wow, after Fallout 3 and even Skyrim, that whole thing with Alduin at the beginning when he crashes, that was about 40 minutes or so, depending on how long you looked into it and things like that. So yeah, it's over quite quickly. You get straight into the wasteland. The crafting though, mate, I've lost myself in the crafting. I was building a treehouse this evening. It's really cool. I'm going to do a video or something of it when I've finished it.
Henwood saying he has opted out of going from town to town for crafting tables and has crafted himself a luxury 6-story wooden shack, which I think is quite cool.
Yeah,
Henwood.
That's what mine's like. It's a wooden shack tree house. There's a tree sort of in one of the gardens in Sanctuary Hills where there's hardly any branches coming off it. So I decided to build a tree house around it. So what I did was I built like a little shack base at the bottom, built the second floor and then deleted the bottom floor, so it's raised, and then just built up from there. It's really, really cool. So I can't wait to show people. But it's just one of those games, mate. I know that you really enjoyed Minecraft. It's got that sort of bug. What I will say though, for any new players and yourself, mate, because you're only a few hours in, anything electrical, take it. Anything you find, toasters, circuit
fans, and all that there, yeah.
Fans, even ancient globes. Because to build electrical things and power, you need copper, and that is quite rare. So, okay. I mean, I've spent quite a long time just trying to find copper.
Yeah, copper. You never copper around when you need one.
Yeah.
I heard some criticism of that town building thing. People saying that when they were building shacks and stuff like that there, that the roofs that they made didn't quite fit, or pit pieces didn't quite fit, or things were floating on the ground, or they spent a lot of time and then the last piece of the jigsaw just didn't go because it was a bit janky. It maybe needs a bit more refinement. And maybe it'll come.
There's a few times, where it just doesn't seem to fit right. But overall, it's pretty spot on. I
mean, realistically, you could not play the game at all and do nothing but build a town. Is that could I be right to say that? Well, could you build a big settlement? I hear you can plant crops and have people scavenging and have a radio tower to pull more people in and all that sort of stuff.
Yep, you can do that. I mean, you'd have to be able to be good at the game because you need to go out and get crafting materials. So you'd need to be able to kill stuff. But generally, if you wanted to just be like a city simulator, because you can set up trading networks between your villages, you can like tie them up together, and you can set up crafting workstations and beds, and like you said, farms, defense systems in all the settlements, and just run them all. And you could just spend hours and hours and hours doing that. And the perks you get, like I think it's local leader, I think it's called, lets you sort of become a sort of mayor of a city kind of thing. It allows you to be able to like give people jobs. So you say, right, I want you to work on the farm, or I want you to work on the weapon mod table or something like that. And that way you get income. And even like scavenging, like your villagers can like scavenge for you, so they'll find junk, things like that.
Yeah, well, I'm at the point now where the little group that I've met have asked me to go. Is it to Diamond City? Is that right?
Yeah.
They've asked me to go there. They've asked Bobby, will you come with us? Go to Diamond City. And some crazy woman who can see into the future and the past.
I hate her, you know. You know, in Skyrim it was like, I used to be an adventurer like you, but then I took an arrow in the knee. That is this fucking woman. Once you've played long enough in this village with that fucking woman, she only says the same thing over and over and over and over again. I'm not going to spoil it because that'll be a fun discovery for the listeners, but I swear to God, the same thing over and over. So yeah,
I was hoping I could romance her. Can I romance her?
You probably can, Nobber. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. That'd be rough. She's old.
Yeah, okay. So look, Fallout 4, I think already is getting a thumbs up from our community. Definitely from me, even such a short time into it again. And I was a bit worried about starting it because there was so many things like Batman that I haven't finished, and quite a few other the big games this year. But I think this has got me. It has got me. And yeah, my problem is I'm only going to be able to grab a couple of hours at a time. So it's going to take me a very, very long time to go through it, unless I'm Mitch off school or work.
I was off last week, so that's why I'm like 21 hours in.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try and take 2 weeks off at Christmas time, so I'll try and get some decent late nighters in when the kids go down. So yeah, like that's Fallout 4. That's the sort of, apart from some Forza, that's the majority of stuff that I've been playing.
Cool. I just want to quickly talk about my RetroPie. I've set up my Raspberry Pi with I set it up with a second SD card because I had one, and I installed RetroPie onto it.
Oh, let me write that down, please. RetroPie. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit funny to set it up because you have to use the keyboard as well with it, and maybe do a couple of Linux commands. And I had to install a different Xbox controller driver because blinky light on the Xbox controller just kept flashing on and on and on and on. But it basically installs like all the emulators for you, and then you just copy over any sort of games that ROMs that you've obtained legally, of course.
I know all of the developers, from front in the 80s. So is it will it run MAME?
Yep, it runs. I'm running PS1 games. It even runs them. I've got the Raspberry Pi 2, so that's a little bit more powerful than the original model. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's fantastic. Me and the missus were playing like Super Mario, Crash Bandicoot, and stuff on the PS1. It's really good, and even with the old emulators, you can bring up. It uses something called RetroArch, which is like it's like an interface that brings it all together, and you can put little filters on, to make the graphics a little bit sharper and stuff. But other than that, it pretty much you'll have to watch a few videos on YouTube and things like that. But other than that, it pretty much works out of the box, and it's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool. Well, I have one. It's in a drawer somewhere. When we first got it, we set it up, and my son was using Scratch. Isn't it Scratch? Which is the little game development thing.
Yeah.
He was working away with that and making on little basic games, and then it was hijacked to use in the main room as a very legal source of accessing television programs and movies.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Very, very legal. Somewhere in some country, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then that got switched off.
Yeah.
So it was binned, or not binned, just chucked in the drawer again. But yeah, in the back of my mind, I would love to have a little MAME machine again. I know you can do it in the PC, but just to power a Pi. I know Mr. Robot used it to hack a whole data center.
Yeah.
But yeah, MAME would be good enough for me.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I must give that a go.
It's really good, mate. Yeah, and it works with the Xbox controller out of the box, but the driver might not be very good. But there is a video specifically on how to uninstall the old one. Stick a keyboard in there, and sort of away you go. And because it links with your network, if you've got it on your network, you can connect to the Raspberry Pi file system from your PC. My webcam's just gone a bit weird then. From your PC, and just like copy stuff over onto your thing. The way I've set mine up, because I have my normal Raspberry Pi for like legal TV stuff.
Of course.
I have an external hard drive attached, so I'm able to copy big stuff onto that over the network. So like, PlayStation stuff that's like 400 megs or whatever copies over. But yeah, I mean, it's really good. It's some, it's just a cool like thing, like be able to just open up. All right, I'll do some NES games or SNES games. Or by the way, SNES is 25 years old today as well.
Oh, and Xbox, I believe, is Xbox 360 is 10 years old this weekend.
10 years old.
Happy birthday, SNES and Xbox 360! Whoa!
Good times. I was working in Argos call center when the Xbox 360 come out, and everyone was phoning up for one, and it was all sold out everywhere. Launch. No one could get one. We were told like the next time they'd have them was like March or something.
Look at me. Yeah, those are the days. Yeah, they're all broken. Sorry, you can't have one.
Yeah, they're all broke. I think that's it for what we've been playing, to be honest. I think we'll go into... let's talk some new releases, and then we'll have a little crack at the news, and then we'll give Greg his little thing, and like you can talk Extra Life as well.
Yeah, okay.
Get the notes up here.
All right.
The lovely guys.
Consummate professional.
Obviously. Going into new releases. I've put it up on the Twitch. A new little window.
Ooh. Very good.
There isn't a lot out, but there's a few things.
Anything of note?
The only thing really is Beyond Two Souls on PS4.
Oh, fuck off. Yeah, I suppose, looking at it there, what's that? Solanamus in the PC and Thea the Awakening PC. Beyond Two Souls, yes, fair enough. But, God, I didn't play it, don't want to play it. Nice to see that Minecraft story mode. Episode 3, they're pumping those out really every 2 to 3 weeks now, so that's kind of cool. the kids will be all over that. But that's about it. I mean, there's this Teslagrad. Oh, yeah, Teslagrad. Fraser, my cousin in Canada, he raved about Teslagrad playing on the PS4. So it'd be nice to play on my Vita as well.
Yeah,
maybe give it a whiz.
I think it's on the Nintendo eShop on the old Wii U. It's like a side-scrolling, like 2D platformer. I mean, they've been really fantastic these last few years. So yes, definitely something worth looking at, maybe.
But I mean, we have a list in front of us here with new releases on it. But really, it's scraping the bottom of the barrel now. I mean, what's left really? Far Cry? No, not Far Cry. Just Cause 3.
Just Cause, yeah. December.
What else is there out this year?
I think a couple of Nintendo things might be coming out. That were on Nintendo Direct, but like some of their big games, like Fire Emblem, and is coming out next year. Yeah, there isn't really anything else now.
Yeah. I mean, that's about it. I mean, and I think with the three biggies there, you know, the Tomb Raiders and your Fallouts and your Star Warses, that's an awful lot to keep through the cold winter months.
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I suppose there's not a lot going on there.
So in the news, there also hasn't been too much going on, but there's a few like little things of note.
Okay.
Greg messaged me too, so I thought I'd read those out. First of all, Kudo Tsunoda. Is it Tsunoda? Yeah. Gaming news. So we're talking gaming news now. Kudo Tsunoda has left the Xbox division to head the Windows App Store.
Oh dear.
Which is kind of interesting. So I don't think it's been announced yet who's going to be coming in, but someone's going to be taking over the role of like first-party games for Xbox. So he's gone to join the App Store.
Yeah, well, he was working on Kinect stuff, so there's not a lot of new Kinect stuff to be working on.
No.
So I suppose, has to go somewhere. Yeah.
Deus Ex. Now, they did their pre-order bonus thing a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And they said, like, if loads of people pre-order it, then they'll release the game, like, early.
Yeah.
And then they come out and cancelled all that stuff. Well, they've announced that the game's now delayed until, like, October next year.
Oh, well, yeah, I think that's a pretty good... I know, it was really dirty. It was a really horrible thing. And I suppose all of these companies are looking at ways to try and monetize how is the best way to launch their game. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because... whether it's be these card packs or DLC or season passes, and this was a new way, and it's thankfully they have sort of turned around again and went, this is going to go in a different direction with this. So I think they got the fingers burnt there. I think also there's some stuff to do with scheduling as well, because I mean 6 months puts that in around, I think it's September time, August, September. When the launch date, which is a really, really good launch window because there's usually not a lot there. You get your Red Deads in the middle of summer, which worked out really, really well for them. So, I mean, Deus Ex is a fantastic set of game storylines. So I hope they are spending the 6 months polishing, because that's Square that develops it, isn't it? The Square is the publisher in the house, I think, for that. So, I mean, they don't want to get this wrong, because if they get it wrong, Deus Ex is out of here. The stuff that we've seen so far looks pretty good, so I hope this is a good thing for all, that they actually go back to a more normal sort of format for selling the game, because I think that really put people off big style.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
Quick one on PS4 backwards compatibility. They come out and announced that it was coming. The caveat, though, is that it's up to the devs if they want to decide to use it. The PS4 has the capability to emulate old PlayStation games, PS1, PS2 games, sort of built in. So they've given developers the chance to decide if they want to pretty much like bundle old games. So like, I don't know, when Gran Turismo comes out, they might say, oh, you get GT1 and 2 with it or something. They did come out on Twitter, though, and ask the fans what games they wanted to see come back. That might be like first-party games.
It just sounds so odd. I mean, you heard Sony execs, around the time that backwards compatibility first came out on the Xbox One. I'm not being fanboyish here at all. Please don't take me wrong. But I mean, there was Sony execs saying that's amazing. You know, give credit where credit's due. It's amazing what they've achieved with this. And they came out on several occasions saying that no, this is not going to happen. And again, because of the whole PS3 architecture, the way it used that different type of programming, what was it, the pyramid or the cell chip or whatever, that programming it was more, even though it was more powerful than the Xbox 360, it was harder to program for, blah 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 blah, which is why the Xbox 360 got a bit of an edge on it that way as well. So are they gonna? They're already re-releasing titles as sort of HD remakes and stuff like that there, but is this talking about pure, just like like a shell of the Xbox 360, the way that backwards compatibility works? So when you play an Xbox 360 game, up comes the Xbox 360 dash, and away you go. Are they talking about that? Or are they talking about just remakes? Or I suppose the ability to emulate is what it's saying.
Yeah, so I'd imagine that if it was allowed, like if the game was like patched to do so and stuff, it would basically work like the PS3 originally did. How you just put the game in and it works. And so it is interesting how they're gonna do it, especially if they've come out and said that it has the power to emulate automatically anyway by default. Why they never just sort of allowed it like they did with the past? Because I know there was licensing issues with Xbox One, but previously, like, you bought a PS2, all your PS1 games would work. You launched PS3, played everything. So it's a bit strange.
And I mean, maybe they've changed their mind, and there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. I mean, I thought that the way they were going for emulation was the PS Now thing, where you paid your Netflix style subscription. It was more expensive than that, and streamed your old games a la Netflix on your PS4. And I kind of thought that, well, maybe if it could do backwards compatibility, they weren't going to admit to it because this is the revenue stream that they wanted to get. But maybe now they've changed tune, and that's good if they do, because it is a very nice extra feature on the Xbox One. Some of the games on backwards compat are crap, but I mean, all the Gears games are there now. Fabulous. You know, Halo Wars, there's a whole pile of the original Mass Effect, there's stuff, Mirror's Edge, stuff they want to go back to.
Yeah.
It's great. So, and whether I'll do it a lot or not, I'm definitely going to play Halo Wars again. But there's a pile that I would play again. I would play, and I know I've got several 360s lying around the house, but they're hard to switch on these days. Yeah. But I would love to play, you know, Alan Wake again, and maybe imagine if COD 4 or Call of Duty came out again, or Modern Warfare 2. I mean, I definitely would go back and give those a blast. And it might only be for 20 minutes, half an hour, or an hour or so, but it would still be brilliant. I mean, it's already some of the guys in the community are already talking about going back to do Gears of War 3 Horde mode, because it's there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. And I hope they do it. I really do hope they do, but it sounds all wishy-washy. Yes, they can. No, they can't. No, they can. Yes, they can. No, they can't. But yeah, fair enough. Go, Sony.
Yeah, basically. Quick one. Mass Effect Andromeda protagonist's name might have been leaked from the little trailer. It might be named Cold Rider.
Yeah, baby.
Cold Rider. Fallout 4 patch is coming next week. It's got to be released first on Steam Beta for us to try out on PC. Then it'll release for full. So they've come out and said that's coming. Star Wars Battlefront, we were talking about that before, the $50 season pass. $50 for a season pass, that's quite a lot. Super Nintendo turned 25, woohoo. Fallout 4, in the trailers and stuff, there's a number that you can call for Vault-Tec. It's 1-888-4 Vault-Tec. And it's on all their advertising, and it's on the Vault-Tec advertising. It's a real phone number that you can call.
Oh, wow.
And there's an answer machine message. I think the story was on Polygon. There's like an answer machine message when you phone up, and it's like, hey, thanks for calling Vault-Tec. You are 1,500,000th in the queue. And it's just quite funny. It's like 40 seconds that they've done that, so that's quite cool.
Can I suggest that you don't trust them?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
No.
I mean, you know about the vaults and stuff, don't you? Like other vaults, like the social experiments that have happened in other places.
Ooh, close. We were close to the edge here.
I know. So it's interesting. So we've got the Wii U. We've got the Japanese hardware sales for last week. We're not going to go too much into them, but the Wii U
Hardware sales?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
This
Wii
is
U,
new.
the Wii U doubled its sales in Japan last week, probably because of release of a certain game. I think it was Project X Zone. No, that was for the DS. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Japanese hardware sales. Now, I'm going to give you a guess and a chance to guess here, Bongo. 1 to 10, where do you think the PS4 is?
It's hard to guess.
It is hard to guess. Just to give you a hint, every system's on this top 10, obviously.
Okay, well, I mean, I know the Vita and the 3DS plays very, very, very well there, so I would say it's probably in the top 3.
You would be right. It's number 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
My goodness, the Japanese people have at last started to buy PS4s
Yeah. 27,000 sold
in a month.
in a
Weekly,
week.
oh, it's a week.
In a week, yeah.
That's a week, so it's about 110,000 or so.
Second was
120,000.
the new 3DS, the one with a new stick and the,
It has a nub. I like a nub.
bin, yeah, like the old laptops. Where do you think the Xbox One came?
Oh, it's bound to be last. Has to be last. And it probably has sold about 14.
524.
524. Yeah. Do you know what? That's
Dead last.
half a thousand. That'll be over 2,000 little Japanese people. No offense, there could be tall Japanese people, but little Japanese people, 2,000 of them are going to have that. And do you know what? From small snowballs come big snowballs. No, it's never going to happen, is it?
No, the PlayStation 3 outsold Xbox One. The Vita outsold Xbox One by 11,300. Crazy. Software sales, though. Can you guess what game last week sold the most? You'll be surprised.
Well, they're not really into Western games at all, but I have heard rumors that they're starting to get into their Call of Duties again.
You could be on the money there.
But it'll probably be something like UK Watch or Minecraft for the Vita or something like that there.
Well, UK Watch was 7th. Minecraft for the Vita was 12th. Black Ops 3 was number 1 at 43,000.
Wow. What is the population of Japan? Well, I mean,
400 billion. I don't know.
yeah,
quite a
I
lot.
mean, I just even thinking back to the hardware sales, 27,000 PS4s is only 100 and whatever thousand, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, but 100,000 in a month.
There's double the amount of people than there are in the UK. There's
Okay, so it's
127 million.
Right, okay. 127 million against the 500 odd million in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose that's decent enough for that size of population, I suppose. 100,000 in a month.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So
yeah, it's still
interesting.
yeah. But maybe they're starting to sit at home more. You know? Anyway, yeah, okay. But Call of Duty, Call of Duty is once again the biggest software launch between movies and music ever. Or it's the biggest one this year again. And it's had done next to no advertising this year.
Yeah, that's the thing with Call of Duty. They don't need to. They just have to let people know it's coming and then just watch the avalanche just fall on launch day. Fallout 4 sold a lot. I'll be really interested to see the November MPD numbers next month to see where those two came.
Yeah, well, when I hear that Bethesda have shipped 12 million copies now, that doesn't mean they've sold 12 million, but they've shipped 12 million. But I suppose they're going on past sales, and they know what they're going to do and stuff like that there. But 12 million, what was it? Was it Steam had something like? Was it 1 million
1.8
down in 3 days? It wasn't even in a week. It was just the first
less than a
couple of
week.
days.
It was like 1.8 million or something.
Holy
on Steam,
crap!
which equates to about $100 million in revenue.
It's brilliant. I mean, the gaming industry is doing fantastically well, hardware and software. And if Japan are starting to get into consoles again, brilliant. You know,
Yeah,
and of course, we're going to sort of Japanese thing. Very interesting to see what happens with the Chinese market.
Yeah, because that recently allowed it, didn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, they're not the best of friends with Japan, but I honestly think that'll not make a lot of difference. I think Sony will drive through there, but it depends on what their exposure is to it. and how hard Microsoft or Xbox or Apple or whoever it is, or the PC market is gonna to hit there, or these new Steam boxes, which you hear are pretty crap.
Yeah, I mean the issue is like all these fake consoles that get released in China. You know, the Z-Box and all these weird like knockoff things. It'll be interesting.
Kind of cool.
I think we'll go into podcast trivia, which is going to be a bit interesting with just me and you.
Yeah, okay.
But we've got Jason Johnson. He sent some trivia.
Ask me some questions. Yeah.
A lot of it is to do with old stuff, so yeah, we'll see what happens. In the 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider, what is the name of the island the characters are stranded on?
Gilligan's.
Is it Yamato, Yama-Ilto, or Ito, Yamatai, or Himiko?
Yamatai. Haven't a clue.
It is Yamatai. Well done. Boom! Out of the park. What is the title of the final zone in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis? The final zone in Sonic 2. Is it Emerald Hill, Metropolis, Hidden Palace, or Egg Gauntlet?
Egg Gauntlet. Again, I haven't a clue.
2 out of 2, mate. You got it. You got it. I don't know how you're getting
Seriously? Yeah.
You're doing it.
All right.
Right, here we go. What was the best? What was the best-selling game on the original Xbox? Halo 2, Fable, The Elder Scrolls 3: Morrowind, or Halo Combat Evolved?
Shit, that is a harder one. Halo Combat Evolved, Fable. What was the latter? Morrowind. I think of all those students. Combat isn't that Halo? I thought Halo and Halo Combat Evolved were the first thing. Was the first one anyway? Is number one not called Halo Combat Evolved?
Yeah, that's number one.
And what's Halo then?
Nothing. Halo 1 is called Halo Combat Evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Halo, well, in fact, Halo was the Apple game that when it was an Apple product.
Yeah. Was it RTS or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then when Microsoft got it, they called it Combat Evolved.
Okay. I'll say Halo. I mean, maybe it's too obvious, but
Okay.
I'll say Halo.
It was Halo 2. One away.
Was that an option?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Halo 2 was the first option they gave you.
Oh, frig. Oh, duh. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's what they say. Number 4. Right, here we go.
Okay.
You'll never get this. 'Cause I
Never.
wouldn't. Nope, none of us would ever get this. How many hidden characters were there to unlock in the original Super Smash Bros. For the N64? Was it 6, 3, 5, or 4?
5.
Another one bites the dust. I'm afraid it was 4.
Ah, well.
4 hidden characters.
No idea.
Number 5. Here we go. Another Nintendo one. Ish.
Woo.
What non-Nintendo platform had 3 licensed Legend of Zelda games made for it by non-Nintendo studios? But which console had 3 Legend of Zelda games weren't made by Nintendo on there? Was it the Atari Jaguar, the Philips CDI, the Neo Geo, or the Pioneer Laser Active?
I think you could rule out Pioneer and Neo Geo. What were the other two? The Jaguar or
The Philips CDI.
yeah, Philips. 3. Jaguar. I'll say Jaguar.
It was the Philips.
Philips, damn it.
Yeah, the CDI. I don't even remember it.
God, I didn't think it had been out long enough to have 3 games,
You just fucking bashed them out one a month for 3 months.
Yeah.
Last one is the back of the box.
Back of the bollocks. That's a better name.
So let's do this. Right.
Let's do it together.
Do it together. Vincent is trapped. I've not actually seen the no, I have just by accident then. So I've seen it now. So, oh well. Vincent is trapped in a nightmare, facing a choice of marrying his longtime girlfriend, Blank, or moving on to the incredible blonde he just woke up to next to named blank. The worst part is, if he makes the wrong choice, he could end up dead. Hang out, drink, send texts, and watch the story unfold through full HD cinematics.
Final Fantasy VII, that would be.
So close. They had the text in, didn't they? Obviously. It was at Catherine, the game.
Oh, was it Catherine?
It was Catherine, yeah.
Damn, I was cheating there too. And that's what I came up with, Final Fantasy VII. I played quite a bit of Catherine. That was a strange game.
Very strange.
I loved the bar bits. I loved all of that stuff and the anime. But the sheep up the Cubert pyramid thing was kind of just odd and very frustrating as well. And bloody hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine, would that get made today?
It's a very good question.
I think I know people raved about it. Catherine. I like the music and all. Yeah. And the main character.
Yeah.
On his pants. Okay. Thank you very much, Jason. Jason.
There we go. Thanks for that, Jason. Thanks for the trivia, as always. Send in your trivia next week, and we'll read it out, as always, mate. We'll look forward to it. So, I think at this point, we'll go into the Extra Life stuff from last week. Now, do you want to go first, Robin? Or
Yeah. Okay, I'll mention my wee bit now. So, look, Greg, I'm sure he'll talk about a load of crap, and he'll make up a load of old stories and about how wonderful he is and how great that it was that he came out on top as far as how much money was raised and how humble he is and how lucky we are to know him. I won't say that. I'll say thank you to everybody that donated to me. I did do a prize draw, and Jilly Joe, thank you very much. You were randomly drawn, and you got a nice voucher for Amazon, which is a way off to you already. Thank you. I raised almost $1,000. Our small group this year of there's 5 or 6 of us that were very active this year, raising money. I've done extremely well. I think the total when I last looked at it was nearly 4,000. Thank you very much, everybody that dropped into my stream. It was kind of rough, really hard going this time round. About 5 in the morning, half 5 in the morning. God almighty, I found it so hard to play. I thought, well, what'll I do? I'm going to play something really simple, so I can get through this. And I threw on a Lego Marvel superheroes, and that was the most popular thing on the stream. At one point, I had about 70 people watching me, and I felt like a right dummy because I just couldn't work out the most basic of puzzles. I was looking at the screen, and I just couldn't. My brain would turn to mush and fudge.
Yeah.
So thank you for all the people that came in and supported me. Thank you for everybody that dropped cash on any of the VG Hub team, including Gary and Greg and everybody else, and Amras and everybody else that was involved in it there. We've done really well for the small group that we had this year, going to a good cause, and thank you very much for that. And we'll be at it next year again. And over to Greg, and let's hear what Greg has to say.
Yeah, so Greg's got a 10-minute audio clip here for the listeners to enjoy. He goes on about a few things. So I've got a special Twitch-like window just for Greg.
Ooh, well, while that's happening, I'm going to go and check if my Willie's still here in the bathroom. Okay?
Yeah, me too. So, listeners, enjoy the message from Greg here. He would like to thank everybody and talk some awesome things. So, enjoy.
Hey everybody, it's Greg DeLacy, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter, Murphy's Law gamertag, and well, I couldn't make the show this week, but I wanted to at least be on the show in some fashion, so here we go. I am calling you from the future, the past, certainly not the present. Anyway, Extra Life, that was the thing that happened a few weeks ago, and it was a huge success. So one, thank you to everybody that participated in that. I know it's already been discussed, but certainly want to bring up the fact that the combined amount of donations from all gamers that participated in Extra Life, they've raised over $7 million so far. So it has been a huge success. So thank you to everybody who has participated. And a big thank you just to those who donated on my page and supported me. You helped push me up over my $1,000 goal. So I was thrilled with that, and actually was able to raise $1,385. So just awesome stuff. And even more exciting for me, I looked at my lifetime donations that I've raised since starting Extra Life, and I'm now up over $9,000. Actually, just coming in on $10,000, so $9,700 lifetime. So next year, I'll hit that $10,000 mark. That will be pretty exciting. Now, I do have a $60 Amazon gift card to give away, and I'm not going to do it right yet. You got to wait just a little bit longer. That's the tease. I want to talk real quickly about Rise of the Tomb Raider. This is a fantastic game, and I know it is being overshadowed by Fallout 4, and everybody's running around saying, oh, they should have never released it up against Fallout 4. It was a big mistake from Microsoft. Well, one, I think Square Enix actually had probably something to say with this. I think Square Enix wanted a fall holiday game. So more than likely they pushed that this had to be released in Q4, and I'm sure Microsoft was looking at the calendar lineup, and they were like, well, this is pretty much the only time we really can get it in when it's going to have an impact. So hey, sure, Fallout 4 is selling like gangbusters and probably overshadowing it, but that doesn't mean this is a bad game by any stretch. It is a fantastic game, and it at this point is right up there for me for Game of the Year. I'm going to be giving it some serious consideration. It is a vast improvement over what was done before. So for those that were familiar with the original Tomb Raider reboot, there were lots of great things they did. They took a lot of cues from Uncharted, and then they also just kind of use some of the old Tomb Raider stuff to make the game in terms of exploration and tomb raiding. But the big knock was there wasn't enough tombs in the previous game. It was a little combat heavy, and it also was a little gore porn, if you will, from when Lara would die. When she would die. They usually had kind of a really graphic cutscene of her getting, a spike driven through her head or something. So, and then they also had multiplayer included in that game. So areas that they've improved. One, they've toned down the gore porn. There still are occasionally some fairly graphic moments, but they're not nearly as graphic as they were before. So you don't feel like it's trying too hard to depict this kind of thing. Most of the time it's use your imagination as to what happened to her. And she also seems much tougher this go around. I think we've already been discussing it on the show prior to this show, how she seems much more comfortable in her role and not playing the frail, afraid girl, as opposed to being the adventurer and kind of on her journey now. I also will say that they got away from the multiplayer, which was a really smart choice. It allowed them really to focus in on bringing those really nice little touches and expanding upon a lot of what the original Tomb Raider reboot did right. And so no need for multiplayer. It's not here, and I two big thumbs up for that. Graphically, this is a gorgeous game. Voice acting, all is really well done. There's some moments within the story that I feel are a little, I won't say tropes, but I definitely saw it coming. The story so far at least hasn't been one of big plot twists where I was like, oh my god, I never saw that coming. But that being said, it's not a bad story at all. Again, this is a real polished, great single-player experience, and if you're not a Fallout open-world kind of pick-your-own-way individual, Tomb Raider provides a more guided experience. It has hub worlds as opposed to being an open world, so it will guide you along in the sense of like the linear progression of the story. but you'll get into these smaller hub worlds where you'll have a lot of freedom of exploration and getting to your destination in your own path. But it is not as like The Witcher 3 that that stands out to you and really you can get lost instantly when you look at that map. You pull open the map and it's just like, holy crap, there's all this world to explore and all of these beacons start popping up. This is far less of that, but it has some of that. So it's a really good balance, especially for those not looking for that kind of experience. Anyway, that said, the combat movements, the exploration of the tombs, there's far more tombs in this version of the game. So I'm happy to see that they really expanded upon that. It really feels like what Tomb Raider should be, and that is a fantastic thing. Lara is definitely back, and this IP is going to explode, I think, over the coming years. Crystal Dynamics really has found the right mix for Lara. And if you're a PC gamer or a PS4 gamer, fear not, this game is going to be worth the wait. When it does come out to your platform of choice, get it, you'll enjoy it. And yes, maybe it's a little disappointing that you're not getting to play it right away, but you know what? With the way exclusivity deals are going these days, it's actually at least a decent thing that you're going to be able to play it eventually, because it could be like Street Fighter V, and certain platforms, as in the Xbox One platform, they're not going to get to play that game at all. So don't shit on this game just because it's not coming to your platform right away. It is a great game and well worth the time and effort for whenever you pick it up. Okay, that said, my other little guilty pleasure I'll throw in there, Wasteland 2. It is the Fallout 4 little brother. It's made by the guys that originally made Fallout, and if you like top-down or over the shoulder, third-person isometric kind of view, turn-based RPGs with a little bit of XCOM thrown into it in terms of combat systems and using cover for a shield mechanic, this is a really fun game. It's $40. Look, Black Friday's coming up. I'm sure this game is probably going to have some Black Friday deals to it. If you like this kind of game, this turn-based, big, open-world RPG, where you have party members and you're having to, do all the inventory management and the skill tree upgrades, all of that stuff is in this game, and it is Apocalypse. It is Fallout Apocalypse. Pick it up. Pick it up on the cheap. It's a big recommendation for me if you like those kinds of games. All right, here we go. The winner for my $60 Amazon gift card for 2015 Extra Life is Matt Tremaine. So Matt Tremaine, I don't believe he is a community member for G4TE, but I do know Matt, and he has been a continuous contributor over the past few years. So congratulations, Matt Tremaine. You have won a $60 Amazon gift card. And again, congratulations to everybody who participated in Extra Life. It has been a wonderful experience over the years, and this year was no exception. It was, again, just a ton of fun, great support from the community, helping me stay awake, and just contributing and giving in to such a great cause. So thank you, and I look forward to coming back to the show next week. Cross my fingers, I'll be there.
Lois, I have never been more comfortable as a person than I am in these feety pajamas. All warm and furry. This is what it feels like to be a bear. You remember what I used to say, Lois, when we first got married? You remember? I used to say, what would it feel like to be a bear? Well, this is it. This is it. I'm living it, baby.
So that was Greg. Thank you very much for bringing us your Extra Life stuff and showing us basically how much of an awesome guy you were. So, well done to Matt Tremaine for winning the card, and everybody else who the life. So next year, Robin, do you think you'll be doing it again?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I want to get. I have this sort of thing in the back of my head that Extra Life is wonderful, and it'd be nice to do something with some of the UK guys that do it over here. There's the Games Aid thing too, so I don't know. Maybe there's a chance to do both as well. I mean, but there's well, the Midlife Gamers thing's done some stuff with the Games Aid earlier on in the year, and they did something very similar. And I think it would be good to get there'd be maybe a lot more local interest at the UK side if we were doing something like that as well. But that'll be something to think about. It doesn't matter anyway. You know, the money for Games Aid and for Extra Life is going to very, very good causes. So I'll definitely be doing one or t'other or both next year. Definitely.
I think I might even join in next year. I haven't done it yet.
It's good. It's good.
Got a massive back catalogue, so there's plenty of games to play.
Yeah.
What about old Spotlight stuff?
Yeah. Okay. Well. Let's start. Playdate stuff wise. You know, if you're at the old Halos, there's a Spartan Company. If you look for G4TE and Halo Waypoint, there's the Clash of Clans and Boom Beach stuff. It's ongoing. Again, search for G4TE.com within the games. And then there's the We Are Epic stuff. Rich, if you want to talk about We Are Epic and what it is.
Yeah. So you just send us a 30-second clip, cool video of you doing cool video game things, and it could change your life, Robin. You could win $20 of real gaming books, not Bitcoin, not GTA monies, actual monies. $20. All you got to do is post your clip to our Facebook page, which is epic.g40e.com, or send the link to you, Bongo, at g40e.com. We're running this very special We Are Epic at the end of December. Please note, caveat, that there is no guarantee that it will change your life. However, participate. But yeah, the hot
cool.
stuffs. Forza stuff. We've been doing Forza.
Yeah. Yeah, Forza. So Forza seems to be the main body at the moment. Last month I won the Hot Lap Challenge, and I thought, well, this month I'll sort of change it a bit and make it a Hot Loot Challenge. Now, I've got loads and loads of nerd-related loot. Can you imagine the nerdy stuff that I have tucked away in little boxes all over the place? Well, if you beat my time on the Rio Mountain Circuit in an old Mini Cooper 1965 with a max tune of E300, and you beat me and become top of the list, I'll send you some of my nerd-related loot. Now, I've just updated the results today, and it is very, very close. I mean, at the beginning of the week, I was fighting away with Ball Bag, and our times were minute. I was slightly ahead of him, and in the middle of the week there, he has beaten me by just a few thousandths of a second. But the bugger, Wudan, I checked today, and out of nowhere, he's came and posted a time which is another 0.2 faster than even Ballbag and myself, which is unbelievable. And we're talking about tenths and thousands of seconds here on this track, so the competition is tight. I'm really, really going to have to lift my game if I'm going to hold on to my loot. And then coming up in our rear is the Taff Man and Steve-O and Parsnip Nose and Psycho Wumble all getting involved in this. And the times are all pretty close, apart from Psycho Wumble's, which is he could have had sort of his dinner on the way round. But anyway, yeah, so look, if you want to enter the Hot Loot Challenge, make sure you have me on your friends list. That's Bongo the Sane on Xbox Live, and win my loot.
Victories achieved. We have some more victories achieved. Hashtag victory achieved is our competition where you can win a $20 gift card or £50 gift card on Xbox Live or Steam. Follow at g40e.com on Twitter, and a picture of you completing a game. It's all.
I absolutely love this. This is nice, and I know. I think some people now sort of get into the habit of this, Rich, that it's a nice thing to do. It's, when you finish the game, that you've just saying to people, I've done this. I know you have a chance to win stuff, and I know I'm not really entered in to win the prize, but I still do it because I think it's a nice way to round off finishing the game. So I look after the Twitter feed for this here, and it's lovely getting these in. And every week, there's some of the same people, and this week we have new people there as well. So I'll rattle through the list. Psycho Wumble, he finished Dirt 3, backwards compatibility at its best. Yeah, that's the first backwards compatibility completion I've had. Pills Reed, he finished Battlefield Hardline. Infected Psych, he finished Murasaka Baby. Now that's a game that I want to play. It's a Vita game. I seen it at not EGX. What's the indie one that was up in Birmingham? No, Raised.
Nice.
Yeah, I seen it in Raised last year, and that looked really creepy and weird. Baby with balloons, dead baby, strange baby. Anyway, well done, Infected Psych. Please send me an email at bongo@g4te.com if you would, and tell me what you thought of that. I thought it was really good. Steffi Business finished Game of Thrones Season 1 along with Pilch, Reed, Hardley, Dan and Amras. Very worried about Hardley, Dan and Amras. They finished that game on the same day, within about an hour of each other. I think there might be a wee thing going on between Hardley, Dan and Amras.
I wouldn't put it past them. I can smell it from here.
Oh, Nostalgia 64. There's a new name on this week, and he finished Witcher 3, or she finished Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt, and he also finished Game of Thrones Season 1 as well, which is pretty good. Flecky 90, Daniel, he finished Halo 5 Guardians, and Caliburn finished Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 7, and believe it or not, that was on a PSP.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Breaking out the PSP.
A PSP. Woohoo! So, yeah, that's victory achieved. Please come and join the fun with that.
I myself enter as well if I ever finish the game. Just for the fun.
No. Yeah, like Skyrim, maybe.
Yeah.
You might finish it someday.
Maybe. I think, to be honest, I think that about wraps up the show, to be honest. I think we've had a decent show.
Yeah, man, you can find everything you want to find out about the show at g4te.com. You know, you pretty much go there, you'll find all our stuff about Twitch and Facebook, you know, and all the other stuff there. All that information is out there for us. Please, on your download device of choice, leave us a review. Leave us a review anywhere you want, whether it be iTunes or any of those places, or Facebook, or YouTube, or send us a mail. That would be wonderful. But go to g4te.com. You'll find all that lovely information there.
So shout outs. I'll kick them off this week. I want to shout out.
Yeah, okay.
I want to shout out the missus, because we've decided we're going to move in together.
My God, Rich! Big steps! And a moustache too!
And a moustache. I am my father.
Dear God, that's fantastic news. That really is good. What about the girlfriend then?
Yeah, she's happy.
Oh, sorry, the other one?
What? Oh, she doesn't know that.
How many? No, like that's brilliant news. That's a big step. It's fantastic. That's good.
Yeah, so February I'll be moving into our house with big TV.
All right, so you're moving to her pad.
Yeah, that's how we'll do it.
Wow.
I'll leave the lovely room.
Yeah, but you look like you're that well specced out. That was your nice man cave there, you know.
The whole house was one big giant man cave.
Have you lived with someone that way before? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll not ask how that ended, right? Because I sort of know. Well, no, look, that's fantastic news. That's really good that two people want to actually do that. Yeah, and that's fab. Fab news.
So that's pretty much it. Shout out to good. To you, mate.
Yeah. Look, I want to shout out Mark. His granddaughter is taking a bit ill tonight. He was going to be on the show, and he had to whiz off to hospital with his son just to get her checked out. I don't think it's anything too serious, but she's going to hospital just to check it out. Because she was poorly when she was born. So Mark and his family. I want to shout out Fraser. Thank you very much for sorting out Fallout 4 this week, and Resident Evil 2, that remake thing that just came out. It landed on my Xbox. game share. So I'm looking for. I played a little bit of it, and I've never played a Resident Evil game through before, so I might actually tackle this Resident Evil. Isn't it 2 is one of the really good ones?
2 was really, yeah. Which one have you got? Because I've completed 2 and 3.
Oh, I think it's Resident Evil 2 is like a remastered remake type thing that's just been launched on the Xbox this week. Yeah, so I also want to say thank you again to all the Extra Life donators and all the people that supported us through that. It's great. Thank you for your support. To our community members, to all the guys that are racing me with Forza, to all the people that I chat with on Twitter and Facebook and all the other bits and pieces. Love all the chat and all the crack, and it gets very silly and funny. And to Greg, and this Saturday night thing has really changed the overseas connection a little bit at the moment, and I think it's I don't know, you might think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's great that Greg is getting a wee bit of time off here and there. I think it's important, and things evolve and change, and we've got a good team between yourself, Richard, and Mark, and Nicole, and Gigi and Kim there, and Fraser, and all the other people that drop in and out. It was lovely hearing Christopher Matthew on the podcast last week. It's great hearing Chinny popping in every now and again as well. So I think it's a lovely family that we have, and hopefully people still enjoy the podcast in the form that it is, and evolving over the time. So thanks very much for listening, everybody. Rich, thanks for hosting tonight, and yeah, we'll see you. Have a safe and wonderful gaming week, everybody, and we'll catch you soon.
Got some outro music from Dario Montanino on YouTube. It's the Mega Man 3 tune on Have a good week, buddy. Later. Almost.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.